to Perek Aleph. We are up to Perek Aleph. Halacha. We just finished Hey, so we're up to Vav. Right? We were describing yesterday how God is in charge, obviously, and He's Mesavev, right? As the world turns, not the soap opera, but the orchestrator of the world. That is what God is. And then Vav, we're up to V'yediyat avar ze mitzvat aseh. And understanding this is a mitzvah, meaning recognizing everything I've said. Again, continuing on this whole omnipotence, theory that the Rambam has of of God. This is a positive commandment. Shenemar Anochi Hashem Elokecha. Right? Anochi is obviously the first of the 10 commandments. Whole discussion: is it a mitzvah? Is it not a mitzvah? Is it a recognition? Because it's not phrased, it's just a statement. Obviously, there's a very long Rashi, a very long Ibn Ezra on that pasuk if you want to look at it. And if you think that there is someone else on the level of God, you are transgressing a lo taseh. Shenemar lo yeh lecha elokim achrim al panai. You are over commandment number 1. So the positive commandment is commandment number 1 of the 10 commandments, and the negative is number 2. Okay, that's lo yihi elecha. The kofer ba'ikr shezehu ha'ikr gadol shehakol talu boy. And this is what we call a kofer ba'ikr, right? Someone who rejects the basic, principles of our faith. That's called a kofer ba'ikr, right? Like we say about the Russia, right? During the Seder, the Arba Banim, lefisha kofer ba'ikr. Okay, shezehu ha'ikar hagadol shakol talui boy. This is the great klal, right? That everything else depends, right? Like we said yesterday, if you don't have this, then you got nothing. Okay, so now in Zion, the Rambam goes on to talk about the omnipotence of God, right? He's going to describe how God is not like anything that we could conjure up, right? Like when we think of God, we have visions of like the Sistine Chapel, right? The famous Michelangelo touch, God touching Adam. And so if you need to pick a picture of God, we view him as an old man and a white beard, how a child would envision, someone like that. But the Rambam goes on to say, no, there's no way of describing God. Elokaz ze echad hu ve'eno shnayim v'lo yeter al shnayim. He says he is one. He's not 2, and he's not more than 2. Okay? Ela echad. He's singular. She'en ki yechidu echad min ha'achadim hanemtzeim ba'olam. Okay? He is the one, as we say, the one and only. Okay? Lo echad kimin shehu kolel achadim harbeh. He's not one divided into other people. He's not, right? Rambam's going to go, explain how, like, the concept of one, right? Lo ke'echad keguf shehu nechlak lamachlakos, right? He's not divisible. He can't be split up. Ela yichud she'ein yichud achar kamoso ba'olam, right? Like one in mathematics is like a perfect number, right? So too, this concept of God is one. Ilu hayu elokos harba hayu gufin ugvios. Because if there were many, many gods, right, they would have different bodies and forms, right? Because those who are encountered, they're not, right, because they wouldn't be equal. B'mitziosan in their mitzias nifradin zemizeh ela b'ma'orin sheya'ara b'gufas hagvios, right? Because if there were many gods, they would be separated from each other, right? In their bodies. And if the creator had a body, like we envision a body with a chest and a torso and shoulders and head and hands and feet, right? Like Michelangelo's version, right? Hayaloketz v'tachlis. Then he would be limited. He would have a case. He would have a set time, right? And the tachlis sheyeshali is guf she'ein lokates, because the way we envision a body, you could live to 120 if you're healthy, and you could be, you could have a long life, but everything comes to an end. But that's only if we envision God, like Michelangelo did, as an old man with a beard, right? Then everyone dies eventually. But the kol sheyesh legufo kates v'tachlis yesh legufo kates v'sof, right? You'll have an end. Velokenu baruch hu hol v'kolcho ein lokates ve'eno posek. He is continuous. He is omnipotent, and he is perpetual. Shaharei hagalgal sovev tamid. Right? He goes back to this concept of galgal, right? Like our sphere, right? It's galgal that it's consistently spinning. It's unstoppable. Eno kocho koach guf. It's not like we imagine, a regular person having strength. And since God doesn't have a body like we know the word body to mean, and we envision a person, a human being, so therefore then things that happen to the average person won't happen to God, because if God had a hand, then a hand could be broken. If he had a foot, right, a foot could get dislocated. But because he doesn't have a body like we think of a body, so that none of this will ever happen. Therefore, it's impossible to come to any other conclusion other than that he is one. And recognizing God being one, okay, a pasuk that we say in Shema, where we scream out the soul, right, that God is one, and that's it. So he already brought up the mitzvah of Anochi. He brought up Lo Tasev Lo Yiheh. And I think, if memory serves me correct, out of the 613 mitzvos, 37, right, which is about 5%, 4%, something like that, are devoted to Avodah Zarah and God-related mitzvos. I think the number is 37. I remember hearing that once. So it's not just Shema Yisrael, it's not just Anochi, it's not just Lo Yiyeh. There are all kinds of mitzvos scattered throughout the Sefer HaChinuch that are related to God and its belief, and our belief in God, and our fear of God, and the Lo Taseh of idol worship. So that is number 7, Halacha Zayin. In Halacha Chet, he, again, you may say, why is he repeating? Why is he repeating? I don't have an answer, but sometimes it's good, this is good repetition. Not only says the Rambam, believe me, because this is what my theory is, but it's explicitly mentioned in the Tanakh that God, right, has no body. He has no physical form like we imagine a person to have. Shenemar ki Hashem Elokechem hu Elokim b'shamayim yimal ve'al haaretz mitachat. V'haguf lo yihiyeh b'shnei makomos. As they say in Yiddish, kenish tanzen auf zwei chasanas. Right? You can't be in two places at the same time. As opposed to God that can be in two places at the same time. Right? He is up, and he's way down, down. How do you have a person that can be in two places? Right? It's even Elon Musk can't do that. Benemar ki lo ri'item kol tumuna. Right? And it says, right, this is a pasuk in Dvarim. He says, you did not see any picture, any image. Benemar, and the pasuk says in Yeshaya chapter 40, ve'el mi tidamyuni ve'eshveh. A pasuk that says, to whom can you liken me, with whom I will be equal? Ilu haya guf hayadoma l'shar gufin. Again, more scriptural proofs, the Rambam says, that if he had some kind of form, right, like we envision a person to have, if he has a real body, then he would look like other bodies. But this pasuk in Yeshaya Mem says, right? You can't compare me to other people because I'm not like them. Okay, so that is more of the Rambam explaining and furthering his premise, his premise that God is unlike anything we could we could imagine. Okay, we'll stop there because Tess is a little bit goes on a different, and then we have Yud.